Hey, this is Tristan at Mahalo.com, and we are at Hip Cook's Kitchen in West Los Angeles today. And today we're going to make some really creamy, delicious mac and cheese. So, not the stuff from the box, real homemade macaroni and cheese, which is a good treat for any family. Okay, so you can see we've got a plethora of ingredients out. Let's get started on heating the milk. That's one of the first steps. So, I'm using one of these movable burners, and this is what we use at Hip Cook's Kitchen. It will work exactly the same as your gas burner or your electric burner at home, so don't let this throw you off at all. Okay, 4 cups whole milk. And what I'm starting is what's called, the cheese sauce. We're making our own cheese sauce. So 4 cups whole milk. Whole milk is a better choice because it will lend to the creamier macaroni and cheese. Okay, and in this milk we're going to add some seasoning so that the milk has some great flavor. So 1 bay leaf, 3 or 4 full allspice, whole allspice. Okay. And this is about 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And that will add a little bit of heat to it. If you don't want any heat, that will be really mild. But if you don't want any heat, leave them out. If you want more heat, you can add them. And then I have about 1 teaspoon of salt here. Okay. And last but not least, some pepper. If you have whole peppercorns, that's awesome. Today I'm just going to grind some in. Okay. Give this a brief stir. We want to have this on medium heat, and it will slowly become warm and come to a slight simmer, not a boil. So you'll look for little bubbles around the edge of the pan, and that's what you're looking for. So in the meantime, I'm going to get started on what's called the roux, and the roux is made up of unsalted butter and white flour, and this is what will become the thickener for the cheese milk sauce. So 4 tablespoons of butter. And let's just get that melted down, and then I'll add 4 tablespoons of flour. Okay, while we're waiting for both of those to happen, let's talk pasta. I chose to use the classic small elbow pasta today. When you're considering the pasta for macaroni and cheese, think about the stuff that has holes in it or ridges, because that stuff holds the creamy cheese sauce and it's the best, it's what you want. So, a big bowl of elbow macaroni, and fusilli is really good as well. I've just cooked up a whole pound. I might not use all of this, but I'll show you how to determine how much you want to use. This has been partially cooked, not fully, because it will go into the oven and continue cooking along with the cheese mixture. So you can bite into it, and if you see inside a tiny little white ring, that means that it's al dente, or a little bit of a larger white ring, that's what you want. It doesn't need to be fully done. So in boiling the water, for cooking the pasta, boil the water and add a tablespoon of salt, and that will add some nice flavor to your noodles. Okay. Butter is melting. Keep it on low because we don't want the butter to brown. Okay, so the butter's melted, so it's time to add the 4 tablespoons of flour. Just get yourself a whisk and slowly get the flour in with the butter, and use a whisk to get that going. Just whisk together until you have a smooth paste. And you want the heat to be on low at this point, because we don't want the roux to become dark. If you leave a roux on for a long period of time, it will darken and become much more flavorful. So our roux is just a nice golden color, and that's where we want it. If it gets any darker, it will probably alter the color of your milk and your creamy mixture, which would be okay, but just keep it light in color so we can avoid extra nuttiness and flavor. All right, so our milk is warm, and this is when we can slowly start to add the flavored milk into the roux. Little bit at a time. And you'll see that it looks a little chunky. That's why we use a whisk to get that whisked in there. Okay. So I've turned the heat back on underneath the roux and the milk mixture so that while we're whisking the milk into the butter and flour mixture, it stays loose and warm. So now that the milk and the butter and the flour are all combined, we need to cook this down for about 15 minutes so that it thickens. Hey, I want to check the macaroni and cheese in the oven, so let's take a look. Oh yeah. Okay, now I'm just gonna pull it out. It's bubbly and delicious. That was about 30 minutes in a 350-degree oven, and you can see that it's done. We've got the creamy cheese sauce coming around the side, and it's nice and golden brown. So that's macaroni and cheese made at home. If there are any other dishes you'd like to see me prepare, please send an email to request@mahalo.com, and in the meantime, check out our other videos.